In every stage of Python's development, I've always been surprised by how far it had come. So it's exponential growth, slowly but surely. I created Python because I needed a language that was easier to use than C, and in the context, the only alternative was shell scripts, which was totally inadequate for what I wanted to do. I wanted something that was much safer than C, that took care of memory allocation and of all sort of out-of-bounds indexing, but was still a sort of an actual programming language. The first thing that happened was I showed my Python prototype when it was about 3 months old. It spread throughout the institute where I worked, CWI in Amsterdam. It's a research lab. Everybody has sort of the need for a random little script to process some one-off bit of data. So it was successful for that. They gave me feedback. They started fixing bugs on their own. Within a year, we realized we had something with potential value for many coders out there. And we worked hard on the first open source release. That was an immediate success. So despite that it wasn't my day job, I had a lot of fun talking to early users, implementing feature requests that people made, applying patches that people made. One of the first patches, I think, was a fix to the makefile so it would run on some esoteric Unix version. Soon enough, there was like a whole community out there that was talking about Python. And because they were all so excited about Python, they thought it was such a cool tool. They were evangelizing. Not something I like to do, but also not something I discouraged anyone from doing. For years, when people said, oh, Python is so cool, in a little bit of fan mail, I said, thank you and now tell all your friends. I was a big fan of Monty Python, and I thought that the existing sort of patterns for naming languages, like acronyms or famous people or even mythology, were boring. I wanted to counteract that as a tiny act of rebellion with something from pop culture. Plus, Python is a 6-letter word. It's pretty easy to type. It's very easy to remember because it has all these other connotations of snakes and comedy. Python's community is a fantastic thing. It's a great resource. It's a place where people can get help with projects. It's also a very diverse place. I worked hard on that. Or again, I mostly encourage the community to do more of that. There's a general story that once a particular community, whether that's bioscience or databases or AI or machine learning, once a particular language has some use there and it sort of looks like it's a good solution, it reaches a point where people sort of, when they develop new pieces of software, whether that's libraries or applications, they will say, let's do that also in Python, because then we can leverage the stuff in Python that's already there. And the same, of course, works just as well in the Java world and the JavaScript or TypeScript world. And I think that's all there is to it. And through Python's good support for large arrays of floating point numbers of various sizes, that was sort of not built in, but became a powerful and sort of well-supported third-party extension. So the people now writing things for AI are also familiar with Python because they started out in machine learning, probably. Maintaining the stability and backwards compatibility are of utmost importance to the current core development community, including especially the steering council. For every new feature we have to very carefully consider, is this sort of breaking existing code? Which is something that makes it hard to add new keywords to the language. And because that was so hard, we have invented a feature called soft keywords, which are keywords that are context sensitive. That has worked out pretty well. Yeah, we have at least one complete new complex statement that uses 2 new context sensitive soft keywords. There are other features under consideration that also use soft keywords. And where it came from actually was that at some point I suddenly got this bug in my mind. I wanted to redesign the parser completely using very different principles, a different sort of way of building parsers that was much more flexible for the syntax of the language, and soft keywords more or less just rolled out of that. Python has traditionally been server-side, and JavaScript, of course, is almost purely client-side. TypeScript piggybacks on JavaScript by adding a type system that's very similar to Python's type system, actually. Those languages I expect will continue to be popular because they are popular with the human users. I expect that AI will eventually be just as helpful when you're writing C# or C++ or Java. I had not anticipated Python to become so important for AI. The role of Python in a world where AI is even more ubiquitous as it is today, you still need to write code, and Python is still a fantastic tool to write code. And because Python is very human-friendly, that almost automatically makes it also AI-friendly, because the same brain cells that help us interpret human language and generate human language also help us understand programming languages, because the languages have been designed to sort of put all kinds of things that are similar to human languages. I mean, if and for are keywords that weren't chosen randomly. And so I expect that AIs will just learn to work with whatever language works well for humans.